Hello, welcome to GTech Techno Solution Private Limited. Today we are going to discuss about the types of muscle tissues in a human muscular system. So these are the topics that you're going to cover in this session. We are going to see the overview of a major skeletal muscles, followed by the types of muscle tissues, which includes the skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, and structure of skeletal muscle. Then we will be studying about the structure of connective tissue coverings. We will also study about the comparison of the muscle types. So here what you are seeing is the overview of major skeletal muscles. Here you are able to see the muscles such as deltoid, biceps brachii, triceps brachii, your latissimus dorsi, your frontalis muscles. These are some of the important muscles. So here you are able to see the major skeletal muscles. This is the anterior view of a human muscular system. Next we have the posterior view of the human muscular system, which has the major muscles such as your rhomboid major, triceps, occipital muscles, soleus muscles, latissimus dorsi in the posterior view, deltoid muscle in the posterior view, and so on. So these are the muscles of a human in the posterior view. The types of muscle tissues are grouped as follows: skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, cardiac muscle. If you see, the muscles that are attached to the bones and skin of the face is an example of the skeletal muscle. The muscles that you find in the walls of hollow organs and blood vessels and iris in an eye is the example for smooth muscle. The muscles that you can find in the wall of the heart is the cardiac muscle. Some of the major functions of your skeletal muscle is it produces the body movements and facial expressions, whereas your smooth muscle moves contents through organs and does vasoconstriction. Your cardiac muscle will pump blood through heart, so it helps in pumping the blood. The mode of control for skeletal muscle is voluntary, that is, you have to move them on your wish. Whereas your smooth muscle can function involuntarily, that is, without a human control. It does the movements on its own. Similarly, your cardiac muscle as well has involuntary as the mode of control. So, this is how the muscle tissues are classified. Here you can see the types of muscle tissue. We have seen about the skeletal muscle. Your smooth muscle looks like this, and your cardiac muscle has the appearance to be like this. Next, we are going to study about the skeletal muscle in detail. The muscle fibers that respond to the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. So these muscles which respond to acetylcholine is known as your skeletal muscle, and it causes the skeletal muscle to contract. Following the contraction, the muscles release an enzyme called as acetylcholine esterase. So once the muscle releases the enzyme acetylcholine esterase, it breaks down the compound acetylcholine, and thus the muscle will be able to relax. So this is how the skeletal muscles functions. You can see the structure of acetylcholine over here. Here you are able to see the structure of the skeletal muscle in detail. The skeletal muscle, as you can see on microscopic view, has the appearance to be like this. So your muscle, on magnification you get the image like this, and magnifying this portion you get the image like this, which on further magnification you get the muscle fibers of the skeletal muscle like this. So, as you can see, the structure of the skeletal muscle has the following parts: your skeletal muscle tissue, your connective tissues such as your tendons, the blood vessels that you can find in your muscle, and you have nerves which controls the muscle. The muscles are made up of fascicles, as you can see, and the outer lining of the fascicle is perimecium, and the inner lining is the endomecium. So this is the structure of the skeletal muscle. Next, we are going to see about the smooth muscle. In the iris of the eye and the walls of the blood vessels, the muscles that are situated are multi-unit smooth muscle. It responds to the neurotransmitters such as acetylcholine and the human hormones. Our next type of smooth muscle is visceral smooth muscle, and it is found in the walls of hollow organs. It responds to the neurotransmitters. By stimulating each other to contract so that the muscle fibers contract and relax together in a rhythmic motion. Say, You can find this movement in the smooth organs of esophagus, where your peristalsis takes place. Peristaltic motion, as we have seen, is nothing but a rhythmic contraction that pushes the substance to the tubes of the body. If you can see over here, there is a rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the muscle which pushes your food particle through the pipe. That is your food pipe. So this process is known as peristalsis. Your neurotransmitters for smooth muscle contractions include the acetylcholine, norepinephrine, and these two compounds will cause or inhibit contractions of the smooth muscle depending on the smooth muscle type, whether it is a cardiac or aligning in the organs. So the neurotransmitters are used for smooth muscle contraction. Next we are going to discuss about the cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscles have intercalated discs which connects a group of cardiac muscle. Here you are able to see the intercalated discs in the cardiac muscle. It connects the group of cardiac muscle and it allows the fibers in the groups to contract and relax together. It allows the heart to work like a pump. Your cardiac muscle is self-exciting. It does not need a nerve stimulation to contract. So thus, your cardiac muscle will speed up or slow down the contraction based on the speed of the nerves. So thus, your cardiac muscle functions involuntarily on its own because it is self-exciting. The neurotransmitters that are functioning in your cardiac muscles are acetylcholine, norepinephrine. Your acetylcholine slows the heart rate, whereas your norepinephrine speeds up the rate. So this is how your cardiac muscles function, by using the neurotransmitters. Next we are going to see the structure of the connective tissues and coverings. If you see, fascia covers the entire skeletal muscles and it separates them from each other so that they don't run across each other. Whereas your aponeurosis is a tough, sheet-like structure and it is made of fibrous connective tissue. It attaches the muscles to other muscles. So here you can see the palmar aponeurosis in the hand of a human. It is a tough, sheet-like structure and it connects the other muscles. Our next connective tissue is tendon. A tendon is a cord-like structure and it is made of fibrous connective tissues. So these tendons use the fibrous connective tissues to make it tough cord-like structure. So this is how the muscles are connected to the bones in a human body using the connective tissues like fascia, aponeurosis and tendon. We are going to see the structure of connective tissues, coverings, how the connective tissues have their coverings. Epimysium is nothing but the thin covering that is just below the fascia of a muscle and it surrounds the entire muscle. That is, the outermost covering is your epimysium, whereas your perimysium is the connective tissue that divides the muscles into sections known as your fascicles. So here you are able to see your fascicle and the covering is known as perimysium. Your endomysium is the covering of connective tissue that surrounds the individual muscle cells. So here you are able to see your endomysium. It covers the connective tissues that surrounds the individual muscle cells. So this gives a detailed idea about how the connective tissue coverings are present in a human muscular system. So here you have a brief comparison of the muscle types that we have viewed. Now, your skeletal muscles have their location as attached to bone most of the times, and their function is movement of bone using the muscle. The control mode of your skeletal muscle is voluntary. That is, it has to be moved with an instruction from the human brain. The shape of the skeletal muscle is long and slender. You can see over here. And the characteristics are as follows. It is striated, light and dark bands with many nuclei. Your cardiac muscles are located in the heart and their function is beating of the heart, that is, it helps in pumping of the blood. And the control mode of your cardiac muscle is involuntary. And they have branches and hence the shape of the cardiac muscle is branching. The characteristics of your cardiac muscle is, it is striated with one or two nuclei. If you see, the smooth muscles can be found in the walls of internal organs and in skin. They have the function as movement of internal organs. Their control mode is involuntary. The shape of your smooth muscle is spindle. And their characteristics are non-striated one nucleus, that is visceral. So in summary, you can say that your skeletal muscles are voluntary and they produce movement and they stabilize joints and they participate in heat production. Whereas your smooth muscles are involuntary, they control the body openings and passages. Your cardiac muscles are involuntary and they are responsible for pumping action of the heart. So this defines the types of muscle tissues in a human body. Thank you so much for joining GTech on types of muscle tissues.